As a park ranger, my job often involves exploring the vast wilderness, ensuring the safety of visitors, and maintaining the natural beauty of the park. The thrill of the unknown, the serenity of nature, the occasional adrenaline rush, it's all part of the job description. But there's an incident I recall, a peculiar autumn morning that continues to haunt me to this day. Imagine a crisp, frost-bitten morning, golden leaves carpeting the forest floor, the air carrying the subtle scent of pine and damp earth. I was on a routine patrol, treading through the dense woods, my boots crunching the fallen leaves beneath. The forest, my sanctuary, usually a source of tranquility, felt different that day. I've always been fascinated by the solitude the woods offer, the peaceful rustle of leaves whispering untold tales, the distant calls of wildlife like an orchestra playing a symphony of nature. This was my routine, my everyday morning. But that morning, as I delved deeper into the woods, the atmosphere gradually shifted. The air grew thick, heavy with an unnameable tension. An eerie silence draped the surroundings, a silence so profound it was almost deafening. A sense of unease began to creep up my spine, a feeling I couldn't shake off. The forest felt different, the trees looming like silent spectators, their shadows stretching ominously. The usual melody of nature's sounds was replaced by an unsettling quiet, the wind carrying whispers of the unknown. It was as if the woods were holding their breath, waiting, watching. As a park ranger, you develop an instinct for the unusual, the out of place. My instincts were on high alert. Something was off, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. It was an ordinary morning turned extraordinary, a morning that would unravel a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Now, looking back, I realized that it was the calm before the storm, a prelude to the chilling discovery that awaited me. That morning was just the beginning, a harbinger of the uncanny tale that was about to unfold. My instincts told me something was off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. That's when I stumbled upon a narrow path concealed by overgrown foliage. It was like the earth itself had swallowed this trail, hidden from the eyes of anyone who didn't venture deep enough into the woods. My curiosity sparked. I felt an irresistible urge to follow this path. As I stepped onto it, the world behind me seemed to blur, as if this hidden path was a portal leading me away from the familiar. The forest buzzed with an uncanny silence, the kind that makes your heartbeat echo in your ears. As I ventured deeper, the path twisted and turned, weaving through the dense patchwork of trees. The foliage thickened, casting long shadows that danced and flickered. The whispering wind that once accompanied me was now replaced by an eerie quiet, as if the forest held its breath, watching my every move. The path was narrow and overgrown, like it hadn't been tread upon for years, maybe decades. The air grew denser and the temperature dropped, sending a chill down my spine. The forest seemed to close in around me, the towering trees leaning over the path, creating a dark, leafy tunnel. The sunlight struggled to penetrate the thick canopy above, casting an otherworldly glow on the path. The forest was no longer the familiar sanctuary I knew. It was now a labyrinth, a web of shadows and silence. I felt like an intruder, an outsider in this realm of forgotten paths and hidden secrets. The deeper I ventured, the more I felt a strange pull, a sense of being drawn towards something. It was like the path had a will of its own, leading me deeper into its enigmatic heart. The forest around me seemed to buzz with an ancient energy, a silent whisper that echoed in the rustling leaves and the creaking boughs. And then, just when I thought the path would never end, the trees parted, revealing what lay beyond. What I saw took my breath away, leaving me standing there awestruck and bewildered. It was as if I had entered another realm entirely. After what felt like hours, I emerged into a small clearing. Before me, a scattering of old-fashioned cottages stood in stark contrast against the dense forest backdrop, their quaint charm strangely out of place in this desolate wilderness. Each one, though weathered by time, retained a certain rustic beauty, their wooden frames echoing tales of a bygone era. The cottages were huddled together, as if seeking solace in their companionship. Their windows, once likely filled with warm, inviting light, now stared blankly back at me. An eerie quiet hung in the air, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. It was a silence not of peace, but of abandonment. I treaded lightly, each step echoing ominously in the stillness. The cottages, though appearing deserted, held an uncanny presence. It was as if they were waiting, frozen in a moment of time, their stories untold and their inhabitants mysteriously absent. My gaze was drawn to the nearest cottage. Its front door, slightly ajar, creaked softly in the breeze, inviting yet foreboding. I approached cautiously, the wood beneath my feet groaning under the weight of this unexpected visitor. Peering inside, I was met with a sight that seemed to defy reality. The interior was untouched, as if the occupants had simply vanished. Dust-coated furniture, faded photographs, and discarded personal belongings painted a picture of a life abruptly abandoned. The air was heavy with a sense of loss, the silence resonating with echoes of laughter and conversations long since silenced. As I ventured deeper into this ghost town, each cottage revealed a similar story. Homes, once filled with life, now stood as empty shells, their inhabitants seemingly disappeared without a trace. The eerie quiet, the abandoned homes, the lingering sense of unease, all painted a chilling portrait of a community lost in time. The air was still, and an unsettling quiet hung in the atmosphere. I stood there, surrounded by the silent whispers of the past, in the heart of a ghost town hidden deep within the woods. I cautiously approached the nearest cottage, its weathered door creaking open with a sound that echoed through the stillness. The door swung inward, revealing a world seemingly untouched by time. The air was thick with dust, disturbed only by my hesitant footsteps. Layer upon layer of grime covered the furniture, testament to the passing of countless seasons. An eerie stillness filled the room, as if the very air held its breath. The room was a snapshot of a life once lived, frozen in time. A worn-out couch, a wooden table set for dinner, photographs of smiling faces, all coated in dust, all abandoned. It was as if the occupants had simply vanished, leaving behind a tableau of their existence. As I moved from room to room, the sense of unease grew. Children's toys lay scattered on the floor, books were left open on the bedside table, clothes were still hanging in the wardrobes. The mundane aspects of daily life were on full display, yet devoid of life. It was a chilling reminder of the transience of our existence, a stark contrast to the enduring silence of the forest. The further I ventured into the cottage, the stronger the feeling of disquiet became. Signs of a hurried departure were everywhere. Drawers were left open, belongings strewn around, as if the occupants had left in a rush. Yet there was no sign of struggle or conflict. It was as if they had simply evaporated into thin air. In the silence, I found myself listening for the echoes of laughter, for the sounds of life that once filled these spaces. But all that answered was the eerie stillness of the forest, the quiet rustling of the leaves, the hushed whispers of the wind. The more I uncovered, the more it became apparent that this hidden community had once been home to families that had disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a chilling mystery nestled in the heart of the woods. The discovery left me with more questions than answers. The haunting image of those deserted cottages standing forlorn in the middle of the woods was etched in my mind. Each weathered door, each dust-covered piece of furniture, and every faded photograph told a tale of a life once lived and abruptly abandoned. I found myself wrestling with a torrent of unanswerable questions. Who were the people who once called this hidden community home? What circumstances led them to build their lives in such a secluded place? And perhaps the most troubling question of all, why did they vanish without a trace? The more I pondered, the more my mind spun with theories. Perhaps they were pioneers, seeking refuge from the hustle and bustle of city life. Or maybe they were outlaws, hiding from the law in the heart of the forest. But none of these theories could explain their sudden and complete disappearance. It was as if they had been plucked out of existence, leaving behind a haunting tableau of a life interrupted. The silence of the ghost town echoed the silence of my unanswered questions. The eerie quietude seemed to whisper tales of the past, tales that were lost in the sands of time. The more I delved into the mystery, the more I felt a lingering sense of unease. The forest, once a place of peace and solitude, now bore the weight of 1,000 untold stories. I returned to the park, to the familiarity of my job, but the memory of the ghost town stayed with me. The image of the deserted cottages nestled amidst the dense trees haunted my dreams, and the unanswered questions gnawed at my curiosity. Despite the unsettling discovery, the forest never lost its allure. It still called to me, its vast wilderness a canvas for the mysteries of nature. But now, each rustle of leaves, each whisper of the wind seemed to hold a secret, a piece of a puzzle that was yet to be solved. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that the woods hold secrets beyond our understanding. Dive into the abyss of the dark and mysterious, a realm teeming with gruesome goodies designed to make your stomach churn and toes curl. The Amazon affiliate link, waiting in the description, is your ticket to this world. Don't hesitate, explore the unexplored. Who knows, you might just find your new obsession. And so, our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So, if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.